Walked through cane fields to school with sugarcane for lunch and wire holding his shoes together. So what is he doing in Kingston boardrooms, regulating pharmacists and helping to lead his church? My guest this evening is pharmacist Mr. Rohan McNelli. I'm Archibald Gordon. This is Profile. Rohan McNelli, welcome to Profile.
Thank you for having me. It's a privilege and an honor.
It is our honor. You have such a beautiful story, and this is part one of a two-parter because we're talking about, so many different kind of roles in your life. As a pharmacist, a business owner, the founder of Three Angels Pharmacy, which is an interesting story, by the way, because when you were in that position initially, you were paying yourself $2,000. That's what was left after you solved or, paid all of the things that had to be paid in the business. You work in the Seventh-day Adventist movement. You're active there. You're on the Pharmacy Council. You're part of the Pharmacy Association of Jamaica. You're smiling as you listen to me talk about all of this. How does it feel to hear it?
It's deja vu. It's something that I probably always dream about, played over in my mind over and over growing up, that somehow one day I figured if I follow the path that maybe my story can inspire somebody.
And part of the reason for that is because your story you've had so many different kind of challenges but successes along the way as well.
Yes.
So your story, let's talk about it. Your story starts in Warsop, which is in southern Trelawney in 1973. Let's talk a little bit about what that community is like, because if you're not from southern Trelawney, people don't know about this community. So describe it for me.
So Warsop is midway between Troy and Albertown. So it's a farming community. So most young men, you had your farm. So yam is the main staple.
Because Trelawney is yam country.
Yam country. So around that edge of the cockpit, so springs and so sugar cane, plantain, banana, but we're mostly known for yam. The best yam you can think of is from, and I think Warsop produces the best yam, hands down.
Which you would say. Let's talk a little bit about the household that you grew up in as well.
We grew up with mom and dad. There was a lot of love. So much love that we didn't even realize we were poor. And mommy was a very, very hard worker. As a matter of fact, when I started to have sense, as they would say, I remember going on the streets with my mother very early in the morning to sweep the streets. So now I carried the shovel and the push broom, and she had one of those smaller brooms with my finger in my mouth, because I suck finger for comfort. She always knock it out. But you got up so early. You remember the moon, seeing moon and stars while heading to work to sweep the streets. But my mother had a stickler that everything must be done properly. That's one of her catchphrases. When the cars are coming and bus, I would just hide, because I didn't want anybody to see me sweeping the streets. But one day she took me and said, listen, you see these two hands? Whatever you find to do with them, and work honestly, it's nothing to be ashamed about. And that for me was a turning point. So I decided that I'm sweeping the street with mommy, I'm gonna have to do it to the best of my ability. So
this is a woman who raised you, but at the same time, you also had a hard-working father on the other hand as well.
Yes, daddy was a hard worker, but daddy had a little problem. Very kind, like mommy. He'd give away things, but he also gambled. So daddy is a farmer, you'd go to market, but sometimes mommy had to hide and dip in the pocket. I just see mommy squeezing and just take out some money before he got away to go gamble. I would give mommy the edge any day over daddy.
But also a charismatic figure in your life as well. Your father gets along with people very, very well.
Very well. He could have the biggest funeral, but to us, boy, daddy could have done better. But and it's something that we need to be careful of. Don't be too such a global figure, a community figure, that your children should see more of you and expect more of you. But it's what it is. Love daddy just the same. he was the kind of man who I discovered when I was probably in high school that he couldn't read. How did I know? My little sister came home with her little book. Here is Pam, here is Roy. And he said, Daddy, come help me. So poor Daddy, he said, I can't. He said, I couldn't read. And I watched my little sister held his hand, and you know, you have the little drawings, and he held my father's hand, and he made that circle. And I was shocked. But this man, if you put him on a bus from Troy to Kingston, he'll talk, intelligent talk, you know. You swear he's the Prime Minister. He'll talk to Kingston, and he'll talk all the way back. And you swear he's the most brilliant person. But he was street smart.
And about everything, by the way.
Everything.
About everything.
Anything at any subject. I realized my father was now an active politician, but he was on the JLP side. Only to find out that he was a very active PNP. So they switched. One person said, your father was who we termed the term, he was a person why we created the term fifth columnist, because he switched from PNP to JLP. So we would talk, and I said, Dad, what happened? He said, listen, I went to buy sugar for you, and the sugar was married to Stay Free.
So to get sugar, you have to buy Stay Free.
You have to buy Stay Free. I'm a man, and he got upset, and therefore he decided that he's not going to live under this regime. So much so, my father was such a staunch JLP supporter that when I went back to Warsop to teach, I'm learning, and I think I'm intelligent and I can reason. So I said, Dad realized a lot of my friends were from the PNP side. So one day I was saying, Dad, you know, I don't like how you take politics, you know. You tend to be upset with people because they vote for the other side. And listen, the man got upset. He said, I knew you were going to become a PNP, you know. Very passionate about his politics, but at the end of it all, he was who he was. And that in itself, I think, got him in some trouble as well, because he was never afraid to say who he supports. At one point, he was supporting the MDM, because Brasco, his friend, had switched at the time, and he decided, and so he'd hide from this set and show his face at this set. But he was who he was, you know.
But this huge you have these huge characters in your life. Your mother's stickler for education, very disciplined, you say second to none. Your father, this huge character. Those were the people who were raising you and the community in which you grew up. I want to talk a little bit about education and the school, but we have to take our first break on Profile. My guest is Rohan McNelli. He is a pharmacist. He is a member of the Pharmacy Council, member of the Pharmacy Association of Jamaica. He has such a fascinating story. Back with you after these messages.